We will now call our work session to order. It is about 3 minutes after 6. Today is August 4th, 2025. We all have an agenda in front of us. Are there any changes or amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, then we will adopt the agenda as presented. Item 3, business, budget committee vacancies. I know we have 2 vacancies, so please.
We have 2 vacancies and we've received 2 applications that are in your packet tonight.
Okay, great. And we'll make the decision on,
Our
at our
policy.
regular meeting?
Our policy says it, the regular meeting in August.
Okay. Crystal?
Yes.
What was the deadline for applications?
August 1st, last
August
Friday.
1st. Okay, so these are all the applications?
They're all the applications unless the board directs us to extend the deadline.
Okay. Is everyone satisfied with the deadline of August 1st? Okay. The next item, are there any other questions on that? Hi, Donnie. Are there any other questions or comments on the budget committee vacancies?
So just a really quick question and make sure we're on our timeline. So the next board meeting, we're going to appoint those 2 applicants. If the board is good with it, then you'll work it out for each member to do that. So we'll be ready next board meeting, correct?
Yeah, I know last time we
Yeah.
didn't interview, because we'd already interviewed people prior, so we already submitted these ones, so it's up to you. You just want to go ahead and appoint.
Sound good?
We will move on then to item number 2, facility use.
Perfect. And I have Mr. Moni here. He's been working on the facility use, and you have some resources in your packet. And I'm going to turn it over. It's actually really cool how actually setting up a whole new system and process, better communication with our community and our school. So Matt,
Yeah.
you're up, sir.
Yeah, so, coming from Medford, over there, when you guys, even across the state of Oregon, not really happening over here, but a lot of, used facilities, especially when you have a turf stadium, it's gonna be popular. And it's just good to have a good process and that aligns, with our board policy, nothing's being changed there. We just wanna be efficient and have great communication. And so, again, in regard to board policy KG, nothing's being changed. You can see what we outlined there on that board policy. District facilities serve the district first, that's priority. But we also want to support our community needs. So community-wide interest events, they can use the facilities free of charge. You'll look at that rates, we'll get to that in a second, but we essentially have in-district use, and we have Group 2, which is nonprofit or youth programs, and you have your Group 3, which is profit-based programs. Essentially, Group 2, besides the stadium, we'll go over, we can talk about the rates. I already heard some comments about that. We'll go over what those rates are and where I came up with those numbers here in a little bit. But the program's called Master Library, and what that does is anybody that wants to use our facility, whether it's in district, somebody outside the district, they'll go to our website, they'll click on the link, they have to make an account, and then there's a process of, if it's, whether it's whoever the group is, maybe it's a youth program that wants to have a big tournament on the stadium. They'll go through that process, it'll go to the high school, to Luke or Josh, depending on that, then there's a flow of process before it's finally approved. So that way myself, Ryan, Megan, there's a process of going through it, depending on what's being used. And the main focus here is with that new turf coming in, a lot of people, the community, people outside the community will want to be using that, so.
Okay, and where is the process outlined? Is that going to be in an AR or?
Yes, exactly, yeah, getting that, so this is new to the district, so getting everyone on the same page. I'll be talking with building admin, at least for in the district-wide, get with them, get everybody on board that wants it, and then get in the community, like, hey, this is, I think Megan back, how it's been done is we give them papers, here's the liability, here's the information, fill it out, give it back to us. Here it's just digital, they make an account, we get informed, we get an email, we get notified, and then they gotta, there's certain requirements they have to do, and it's a step-by-step, really easy process, where it just gets rid of the paper, and it's more streamlined and a little more efficient. So what they'll do is they'll go to the website, and the website is being updated currently right now. I'm working with the company that makes the website. They're gonna make a facility use link where, right on the front page of the website, they'll click on that, they'll create an account, whatever email they use, and this is anybody, district or out of district. And then they will upload the required documents, so that's a liability insurance. They'll sign the user agreements just like they would do normally, but it's just all streamlined into that program and any other required documentation. And then they'll wait for approval from the district staff. Any questions so far?
No, I do have a question. We have had requests from the general public to use like our Mac Hall for a quinceañera or something.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
And so that,
They would have to go through this system here. Yeah. And once they make that account, it's there, then they can go back in and book whatever they need to do. Let's talk about the fee structure. So this came up, just doing some research across the state of Oregon, compared to different school districts, much larger school districts. Ontario, Vail, they really don't have a system like this in place, and they're not gonna have an awesome turf field like we are. And so as you can see there, if it's district, anybody within the district, there's not gonna be a charge. Anybody for nonprofit, for the most part, there's not gonna be any charge besides the $25 per hour for the stadium. So you can kind of look at that. I can answer any questions. We can discuss, you know, if you think this is too cheap. The bigger schools are around this. So the large schools like Salem Kaiser, Ben Lapine, they're around this range. And those are the bigger schools. And because they're paying for per hour, if you think of a football game's usually about 3 hours. They're paying for the hourly rate, but they're also paying for the district staff that's working that game. So they're paying $20 an hour for custodial, for maintenance per hour, whatever equipment's needed. So
Is that automatic with these, like if they do their own custodial, own maintenance?
well, if they're using our facilities, like the stadium, we're gonna use our staff. We're not
So
gonna use
these are automatic.
it's already projected into the system, and they'll get a final price right there.
So really, it says 25, but you're gonna add $50 to that an hour.
Yeah, and when they sign up and do it, it tells them what they're gonna be
It's
charged.
really $75 an hour to use the facility.
You said that is in line with bigger schools. Is that in line with what our actual costs will be?
Well, I couldn't find what we were charging back. Did you guys have it was just $100 kind of security deposit, I believe.
Yeah, we've had a fee on there or hourly, but we've never charged it. It's been on there, but we've just gotten away from that. And so this actually goes back to the intent of facility use. And I wanna make sure that, so if a group 3 is charged $50 an hour for stadium, they don't get charged $25 on top of 50, correct?
No.
Because that's only group, so basically group
Exactly.
3, so it is 50, but you have your $100 deposit.
Right, it's 50, but you have to use the other, which is a $20 and a $30 fee.
The custodial rate and the maintenance rate. Right.
So you have to do that.
So you have to, yeah,
Through
to
these-
rent, just to be the turf field, you have, that's just for the field, right? And then-
Right.
But then you have to have your custodial maintenance on top of that, so yeah.
But it's no matter what.
I get, yeah.
So it's the fees
$75,
that-
and then after that, you're only paying custodial maintenance, is that correct?
so that refers to the field.
Yes.
So what about the auditorium?
Oh, no, no,
Jim?
you're right, I get what you're saying, yes, so,
Yeah, so it's the $50 plus that
Yeah,
20
yeah.
and 30. So, and if it's too steep and we think that's too much, we can bring it down. This is just a draft. and to get conversations started.
So, if I wanted to use a cafeteria or a youth group or something, whatever, right now it's a $50 an hour fee.
If
Correct.
you personally would, it would not be,
If I
you would, I think.
Well, let's just say a community member.
There you go.
Okay.
It depends if it's a profit or a nonprofit.
Okay, let's say it's a nonprofit. It's just a group of people that want to use it, that are local members of our
Yep,
neighborhood.
so it, no charge.
Not going to charge them the maintenance rate or the custodial rate.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like to me under this scale, the group two would be like, for instance, if it was the artificial field, it's $25, right?
Yeah,
For
just
group
for the,
two.
yeah,
None of these other costs to it at all, at least in the.
yeah, exactly, that's exactly right.
So
So I
like
see what
that
you're saying.
family that wanted to rent the cafeteria for Thanksgiving, they wouldn't have to pay anything because it's not profit, I mean, they're not.
They're a nonprofit organization.
So anybody
yeah.
could just say, I want to have my Thanksgiving
As
dinner.
long as they make a reservation through the master library, and they upload an insurance, then
And
yeah,
it's
they're
free.
clear.
No, they'd have to still pay custodial maintenance.
Yes.
Right.
So it'd
But they
still
wouldn't
be
have to pay-
$50 an hour.
Yes, but they wouldn't have to pay if it's like a community thing, if it's a non-profit, that's not, then we're not gonna
Well,
charge.
and it says here that the district will hold any group liable causing any damage, but, I mean, does it say, you know, because they get $100 deposit, they get that back if they clean it, or is that non-refundable?
So it's refunded on, usually what we'll do is we'll take the hourly out of that, so, the charge out of
But
it.
what if they damage something expensive, like they use the auditorium when they damage the sound system or something?
Then we have to go be a bill
Get the
collector.
file, yeah, exactly.
So,
I mean, but they have to pay to replace it.
yes.
We can't have them put a credit card on file. It'll be charged.
That's the system, like right now, we don't have an online pay system, so we would just have to charge them, whatever the damage was.
It's not a bad idea though.
But yeah, because even without having a pay system, you could still have all the credit card information.
Absolutely.
Because going and collecting on somebody damaging is,
Well, and even, they might
Yeah.
not even pay.
And there's a process in that, because we don't have the receipting program for it, but it requires them to enter their card information, so we have it on file.
perfect.
I mean, my opinion on this, like, I don't mind any of this. My opinion is, I like the card on file because it does cover some liability issues of like, if they do damage something. But also like, if you're a youth group or a quinceañera and you're paying $50 an hour for the rate, that gets pretty expensive pretty fast for someone that's just a youth group.
I think there's two different ones though, that I think a youth group would be group two,
Right,
and
but
a
it's still.
quinceañera is group three.
And we can decide right here, if it's in district or group two, and this is not my final say, but just a thought, if they're group two or in district, then they're not getting charged that custodial rate. That custodial and maintenance rate can only be for that profit-based organization.
Let me tell you, to rent a facility is like 1,000 minimum,
Yeah.
so that's pretty dang cheap.
Well, you have to realize the custodial maintenance rate is our cost. And so we're not going above and beyond. That's, if you bring a youth group, it's gonna cost us money, right? So that's just for us saying, hey, this is a neutral, and we're trying to make it available for you, but we do have to have somebody on site to do that. And so I agree that.
Certainly having a fee makes total sense.
Yeah.
And there should be, you know, hey, we have to clean the bathrooms after you guys
Well,
leave.
use the toilet paper and the soap and.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
makes perfect
Yeah.
sense.
And somebody's gotta unlock it, lock it back up, make sure everybody, if it mimics our cost, I think it's great.
If someone, the ability to have those numbers, or we have to have those numbers, of what our costs are.
These costs are based off what we have before. Or you guys-
They are, yeah. I mean, it's a little under that when you put it, start putting in your taxes and things
Well,
like that.
or just from your standard stock fee,
Yeah,
this
we
would
would
be
be
at
paying
40.
Yeah, that reflects it, yeah. But like I said, this isn't a zero cost, it actually, on the group two, it costs us a little bit better.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I'm just saying for the first unit, I just wasn't looking at, other than maintenance costs, that's total cost.
Yeah, they usually use our facility, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
I was just gonna point out, now,
District only.
would it be different for, and I'm not trying to overcomplicate
No,
this at all,
no,
okay?
it's new.
But I feel like a local youth group would be different than a out-of-town youth group or nonprofit. Like, yes, we want to attract people, but I feel like the locals are probably going to care more a little bit about taking care of the investment, you know, this is our facilities
And
here
they
for
pay
our
taxes
community.
towards that facility.
Right, right.
So-
So just like other agency or other groups say, you know, in district, out of district, just an idea I'm throwing out there. For,
How about OSWA? Are they not for profit?
Oh, they're getting charged, they're getting, sure.
Who is it?
Well, but he makes a good point. Are they a nonprofit? I bet they are.
Oh, yeah, they are.
And
Well,
so
I
if
thought you
they're,
were saying that the first column was just for youth programs, and anybody else would be in the second.
No, it's the explain.
Nonprofit or youth programs.
I feel like the group would be
but but if we've got other schools, not NISA, playing on our turf, do we really want them classified as a group too?
I mean, this is just my personal opinion. I think Group 2 is for local. I mean, like Nick said, right, taxpayers. I mean, because we are losing money in
We
Group 2.
can, and we can
So-
change that wording.
Right.
To
To
local.
local nonprofit,
Yeah.
local youth program. Group
Yeah.
3, out of district.
Everybody else.
Exactly.
And do we have something else for state playoff games? Just because
Yeah.
these values here are not going to cut it.
No, absolutely.
Or are we gonna get gate fees?
So for the OSAA event, OSAA games, all the gate fees, it doesn't even go to the school that's there.
They make a lot of money because they charge.
We're talking if other schools play on our turf. is that
Yeah,
what we're talking about?
and we're charging OSAA, we're not charging the, like, Harper will probably make the playoffs this year, and I actually talked to Ron today about playing on the turf. And so, right, we're not charging Harper, we're charging OSAA.
Okay, but they get the gate fees?
Yep.
So,
So they're gonna be making money still.
yeah, but so don't we want a rate that's significantly higher than this one? Because
No,
we're
it's
gonna
not.
have.
We can,
Right.
we can make a separate, no, that's a good point, we can make a separate column for those kind of situations.
Because if
Do
we're gonna
they
have-
pay what we ask though, or is it like a set, we pay every stadium this fee?
I mean, we can set it if we want.
Do they pay what they want?
Yeah, and they said, no, we don't want to do it there.
Right, because
Really slow down.
the idea with putting this turf field in was, it's going to attract some of those games to attract revenue.
Yep.
If this is supposed to reflect our cost, we're not making any revenue on OSAA games. So I think we do need a separate schedule for those.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, 'cause they
No,
play there.
OSAA makes money and.
They make money.
Oh,
Yeah, because they charge us so much for regular games. They don't until playoff game.
All right, so make this.
So make it Group 4. So what I'm hearing, I just want to make sure we reflect this. Group 2, it says local, nonprofit, or youth programs, right? Using the word local.
so we do in district,
Oh, in district, thank you. In district.
So change, we have a group 1 is technically in district.
We're
Yeah.
on the Group 2, it's in district anyway.
In district.
in
Oh,
district
local,
nonprofit.
like-
Local,
yeah, there it
we're
is.
just gonna say in district, is to say we're local, we're in Ontario, or we're
Just like
Parma.
when our kids want to play through the rec department, we have to pay out of district fees.
Yep,
Yep, yep.
which makes sense.
Group 2, I'm just gonna, I'll make these changes. Group 3, we can keep the same.
Yeah.
We just need another group for OSAA.
Yeah. Group 4.
Yeah.
And group 3.
And you don't want to label it OSAA?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
district profit and adult programs versus out of district profit and adult programs. Do
Well,
we
I mean, I don't know what adult programs really means. Define that for me. Like, is that a key?
That's probably not as popular around here, but like in bigger cities, they have
Or a
like
Thanksgiving
co-ed,
dinner.
ultimate football or ultimate frisbee, softball, yeah, exactly, so.
Oh, I was thinking the
Maybe the flag
Thanksgiving
football
dinner.
tournament here, those things.
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure we're not creating a policy that discourages our community so much from being able to use a facility. Like that, I wanna make sure we're not doing that, because ultimately, like, this community are the taxpayers of this, like, of the district. And obviously, we don't want to cost us as a district a lot of money. At the same time, we want to create policy that encourages its use and encourages people's ability to utilize it. So,
And I think that's what these numbers do, not only does it, I mean, we're not making money on this situation, there is, like, especially with the turf, that will go into the special 200 account. But there are other costs on top of that we have to replace, and so it's not just a, everybody just abuse it, and then we just, at the end of the day, it's our liability. And so, but I think the costs are, I mean, very, very competitive. I think we do a good job on that part. And like Susie said, you go try to rent a facility somewhere else, like Mac Hall, like, I mean, you're spending a lot of money, so.
$1,000 to rent a barn.
Yeah, which was beautiful, by the way.
Well, how much is
Yes.
the, use of the, Eagle Club?
I don't remember, we always got free as long as a member.
Yeah, I think you were doing 500 plus.
I think it was like 800 back in the day.
Yeah, it was something close to that. I think they're paying for security.
800 to rent the Eagles, plus you had to pay the bartender and do.
So I have a
pay the
question.
waitress.
So if it was the family that wanted to use Mac Hall
The
for
cafeteria.
or the cafeteria for Thanksgiving dinner, it would be, in-district adult group of, or they're not really profit,
No.
but they're
It would be a
they're
group,
just an adult.
it would be a group 2.
A group 2?
So they
For
basically just
Thanksgiving
pay
dinner.
for the
Yeah,
custodians.
Yep.
That's a private thing.
What we would do is honestly, and,
That's right.
and that's something that I want to take off of this one, is take cafeteria out of it.
Okay.
And Mac Hall will be kind of that place, because as we know with the cafeteria, there's more than, I mean, because of the food handling, you know, it's a deeper clean stuff, but Mac Hall, there's plenty of room there, there's plenty of space, so.
So use Mac Hall instead?
Yeah.
So private group is considered a nonprofit or youth?
And that's what I would say is group 2, because our local people, we want to say.
Let's make that specific on this,
Yeah.
maybe, of like, because, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Well, and on the back where it says unlawful activities on C, if somebody's gonna rent it for a quinceañera, you need to really spell out no alcohol. I know it says unlawful.
That's in the liability, that's
I
already.
know, but if you don't say it, they're
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Yeah, you have
Or cooking inside,
Or
but
cooking
it was
inside.
propane?
Yeah. Things like that. Yeah, that is.
But if there was a custodian on there, he would tell
Yeah.
them you can't cook inside. I would hope.
I think group 4 could be competitive events and tournaments.
You heard about it?
How does that sound? Yeah.
Ooh, I like that title.
So, there you go.
Way better than.
Yeah, a lot of years
You know, that's
ago,
cool.
whole family.
It's on mine, so don't watch it.
Any family event could be competitive though.
That's true, actually. They should
They
be.
would probably have like those kind of, or those.
It could transition to group 4 after the middle of the event. Any other thoughts as we keep refining this process with the board
And it'll be a learning thing, like we might use it for a year and be like, you know, you need to adjust this, we can always come back and adjust things, so.
So, maybe, I don't know if this is outside of what we're doing here. I wasn't here for the vote when the turf field was actually approved. Did we decide we're putting a fence up around, we're totally blocking the field off? Was that all voted on?
Well, the fence was already there, wasn't it?
Yeah, the fence is already there, we're just gonna be locking it.
Well, sorry, yes, the fence was there, but when I mean fence enough, I mean blocking it, like, was that all voted on? Is that?
And that wasn't something voted, yeah, that's just something we're going to do. If the board wants to say, no, we want to take action and leave that open. One of the things we said is we want to protect kind of the investment of the district. And so we've given other opportunities for walking paths and those things that you guys have already invested in. And so there's alternatives. But again, at the end of the day, if we're hearing feedback, said, you know, we don't care, we'll just leave it open and incur whatever costs we want. That's.
And I just know we've talked about it a lot. I just wasn't sure if a final decision had been made on it, because I am getting a lot of feedback on, really, you're closing off the nice track, you're closing off the field. I don't know what the right answer is. I wanna
Are we
protect it.
closing off the track?
Yep.
Yeah, because
It's all
part of
it's
the-
all one.
part of
That's
the
what
field.
Emmett and,
It will not be a community use.
And that's what I'm
But
getting.
that's why you gotta
That's
have
exactly-
Yeah, that's why we built the walking path around the elementary, which is a quarter of a mile. So, yeah, that's why we put that, one of the reasons why we put that one in.
And we need to advertise that more.
Yeah.
But I did talk to a couple of other school districts who have turf fields. And that was one of the big things they said was, you've got to keep it locked. You've got to keep people off of it, keep dogs especially off of it.
And I'm wondering, are there alternatives? Are there good camera systems we can put up? Can we put up no dog signs. And if somebody brings a dog onto the premises and they're on the field, we've got a camera of them and they're trespassed from the area. I mean, just a real strict, because if somebody wants to intentionally go damage the field, the law's not going to stop them. And so I think it's kind of a matter of, we want to protect it, but are there other ways of protecting it besides completely keeping the community out?
I think it's what sort of resources you want to put in the district to protect, because it's not, I mean, it's people eating out their trash is one of the biggest things, right? I mean, it's just that, those everyday people just hanging out on it, cigarettes, right? And then you're replacing part of that. Part of it is, right, so, oh wow, hey, somebody burned a hole here, when did that happen? I don't know, we're not checking it every day, right? I mean, and so, even with the good camera system, which we have, it doesn't mean, you know, if you walk out there, I don't know who that is, right? And so, then you're looking at, do you really want to police it that much? And I'd love to say everybody will treat it respectfully, it's just, I mean, we have those things, do not drive here every day. So,
Well, that was one of the things that Homedale said, was that, you know, you have to protect that field. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Susan?
Homedale and Emmett both said they closed
Yes.
theirs and.
Especially animals and people, that people say they're respectful, but, you know, given the opportunity, there's always some 14-year-old who's gonna
Have
run
we
out
had a
there.
lot of problems with people disrespecting the track? I mean,
lots of trash, holes in it, things like that, so, yeah. We've had to replace it a couple times since it
Well,
was filed.
It's been redone twice.
Yeah.
I can think of.
I guess my
I'd
point
take
is,
my
have we had
golf
people
ball
that
out.
are not kids surfacing winter?
We, I don't know.
What's that?
But, I mean, that was part of the reason that we have the track, I mean, that we paid that track over here, was as an alternative. And isn't there an alternative area for walking in
Old
the
parks
park?
now.
Yeah, the parks.
Yeah.
Two of them, that field.
So,
There's tree everywhere.
you know, and I understand why this is convenient.
Well, I mean, it's more than convenient, it's a resource for your community.
Right.
I mean, it's more than that. I mean, kids like to go and use it. I mean, kids train.
Right, but then, you know,
Adults
you've got to
should.
stop and think, you know, having people on the track under supervision is one thing, but we're gonna have a how many $1 million
Yeah.
turf field out there, and as I said, I've talked to other school districts, and that's one of the things they've said, is you've got to protect that.
I know, but we're protecting it for some games, some practices. We're not protecting it for the community to use. It's kind of, maybe, I'll try not to get too political here, but it's kind of like closing off great big areas of the U.S. to preserve it. What are we preserving it for? Not for people to use, because you can't access it anymore. And I wonder on a smaller scale if that's what we're doing by totally locking it off. We're preserving it, but for what? Not for the community as a whole. We're preserving it for a few schools. And that's okay for some school teams. I mean, classrooms shouldn't be open to the community all the time, right? They've got a very specific purpose. I just worry we're closing off a fantastic resource where kids can do measured sprints. We do have alternative walking areas, and they're great. I think they make that area look better. It will look better once that's all cleaned up. But kids can't go do their measured sprints anymore. They can't actually run on a track where they're going to be competing. I don't know what it is, but communities like.
Is there a
rubber tracks.
possibility of saying that, I mean, you know, it costs money, but we would have a supervisor at a certain time? The field could be open, but I mean, you know, when people realize that that's a $1 million investment.
But you can make a schedule, like when they,
Yeah.
the school's
Well,
open.
that's part of this
Open,
program. If
okay.
someone wants to use that track or something during the school time, they make a reservation through this master library, then we unlock it and open it up for that event.
But there's people that will come in the morning and run.
Yeah, we're not.
You're talking about just grant, okay.
Individual people in the community want to come use the space.
I mean, I can count a handful of times, it's just my personal family, that my kids and I are training for an event, and we come down and we time our 400s.
Right.
And we time our 200s. and we're preparing for track season, like, I can count that with my individual family. So I can't imagine that there's not other people that enjoy that thing.
Like,
And
I can-
I totally understand protecting it.
Can we put like a schedule from 7 to 6 and then close after 6? So
I can tell you
people can
that,
use it during the day and it's at night just close it?
And then you're looking at who's gonna maintain and do all that,
Yeah.
right?
Because I
And
mean, if they wanna do like community.
here's
use-
the difference, right, is like, why don't we have the gym and the weight room open all the time for everybody? Same thing, right, is, you know, I'd like to have my
You
family
can't
go
go
down
work
and
out
train.
and walk in the gym in the winter.
And that's exactly it, it is to protect investment.
I mean, those are great, like, debates, right? Like, how long do we leave the tennis courts open? The community enjoys using the tennis courts, right? Like, its access allows kids to practice a sport that they want to practice more often, our community to use it. Is that something that, it's the same question. Could there be damage from it? I would argue 100%. Most of the damage that happens to that track happens from kids. Like, I don't think there's any debate. It's gonna happen in a football game, it's gonna happen when kids screw around. It could happen from an adult, but most adults use that are respectful and, like, you know, I've never even seen, maybe I have, but maybe at a track meet, I've seen some stuff, but you're not gonna close it off to people at a track meet. I mean, people are gonna be walking around and using it. So, like, yeah. They're great debates. How much are these facilities for our community? How much are these facilities for, and the answer is, it's very blended. I mean, the community uses the gym. Now, they use it within the boundaries of what the school has set, but they use the gym all the time. The community uses the tennis courts. They use it within the boundaries that they set, but they use that stuff.
But the boundary is set, it's not open for everybody at every time, because we do have to protect that investment and that. And then, I think that's part of it, right, is it is for classrooms, it is for kids, and when we do have something out there, it's misuse, classrooms can no longer use it. We can't have it ready for track. We don't, I mean, and then because we didn't protect that.
Do we have evidence that it has been disrespected by the community? I guess that's my point.
Yes.
And what is that?
And that's what we said, we've already had to replace it a couple times, just
Right,
because
but-
people.
But you just said, we have evidence that the community has, like, do we have some vandalism that's happened from the community?
No, just ruining, the track was the only thing, and we did have something in the football field, and there was somebody driving on it, but that's, right, so those are the only two things that have been here for 8 years.
So, I don't know.
Well, and
They're
a
great
lot-
debates.
Well, we have to remember that it's not just the track we're trying to protect, it's the football field, it's the turf.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe we have to be creative and figure out that we have to have some sort of use under supervision.
And kind of, and it could be a Saturday, an open time, right, is like I said, from this time is 400, it's for the community use, you know, Saturday mornings or something of that nature, so.
How often you always move fencing? There's not, how many people are actually using the field? I don't see a lot of that happening. Some do, I'm sure. I can tell you, patrolling every day, going through here, you know, people are mostly using the track.
Yeah.
I see
kids, whatever.
people all the time. It's
Um,
bright
but the
early in the
field-
morning, walking that track, and they're just people that want to go to a safe place that they can use it. Now, I think some of these other places will be good, you know.
Out of football season, if you could put a temporary fence around the field, leave it unlocked for the track. That's a big expense.
I think the track is just as expensive as the field too.
Yeah.
I'm placing on track.
I agree too.
Yeah. And they're great, like Nick said, they're great debates. Like, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
So, can I ask, if I wanted to train for the 400-meter dash?
These are kids
No.
mostly. I mean, they are.
Well, you said you and your family, so if I wanted to do this with my family, and I wanted to come and go to the site to rent the track or reserve it for this, like, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and my time slots, what would I be charged? So the track here.
Not
there's-
as you, because you're on the school board. So
Yeah.
Oh, just as a family, just a family. So I'd be group 2 as a family, you said locals. And there's a dash, so that's $0 per but then I'd be paying if I did this for an hour, I'd be paying $50,
We would just do the security deposit on that.
$100 refundable deposit.
Yep.
So I pay you guys my $100, you guys come check, I didn't make no damage, you give me back my 100.
But don't we have to pay someone to open it up for her? and
That's what you have to do.
And that would be the only thing we would work on, what that look like, so. Probably me or Jesse most of the time.
We'd probably go through especially if it's local, we're gonna go out of our way to make sure like, that we can open this for you during these times.
So would there be like a $10 fee per instance or nothing at all?
Probably not.
You and I can go check for the board.
On my spare time.
But I mean, again,
walking or a bike?
I'm an electric bike.
this is,
Electric bike.
this is your guys' decision. If you don't think that that is something that is valuable and we need to protect and do that, which I disagree with 100%, and I get it, like, it'd be nice to train for the 100, but we have track, we have coaches, we have events, and you want to be outside of that, totally understand. If the board says, no, we want that open for the community, that's okay. Right, but again, that is a large investment, you know, $1.6 million we just put into that turf. That you guys have to as well. My advice is, we shut it off, we give it alternatives. Like, it's not convenient for everybody.
So this is accessible to any community member whenever they
Yep,
want.
they're gonna be unlocked, except for during school hours, obviously. But it's
The two
unlocked,
parks have-
it's always unlocked. Yep, and then 4 laps is a mile, so.
And Emmett and Homedale didn't have any problems, I mean, their community accepted.
Yeah.
Everybody always has the, I mean, and I've been talking to other people in the state, right? When you first do this, it's always the initial changing of people's patterns or their thought process. Right, after a while, you get used to it.
I feel like it's accessible. We're making it accessible, they just have to reserve it. And if it's for our in-town people, just like we reviewed this example right now. And then we have a name on file of who's using it,
And
and
when,
an inspection, make sure it's,
And we can have a clause in there that no dogs are allowed.
Or motorized.
Absolutely no
Or
dogs allowed, yeah.
motorized vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Those
know,
are-
there.
Those are, you know, I don't think community members are gonna,
No,
Yeah,
but
they
there
You'll
are.
be surprised.
I mean, they'll break the
Yeah,
rules,
you-
don't get me wrong, they'll break the rules, but they won't argue that it's not a good rule.
The dogs are everywhere.
People will argue, I want my dog with me.
Well,
Yeah.
that's true. There's
That's
some
a
crazy
society.
dogs.
Yeah.
My current place of residence over in Vale, I can see the track from my bedroom window. There are dogs on the track daily.
Do they allow them to have dogs?
it says don't. So,
I've never seen dogs on the track, but.
Well,
I
I'm
have out here.
I'm worried about that turf
I
because
haven't.
dogs.
I don't see dogs
Yeah,
running
right.
free. I see people with leashes.
They certainly don't want to hear anything.
You see them at Walmart too. and they're
Yeah,
not-
that's right.
Yeah.
I wonder how much fees all that.
Dogs will be there if you open it up and get on it.
Well, and really, the community in daily respectful use are not gonna be as hard on the track and the field as we are in competition. They won't, but we're trying to limit the use to make sure we have it for kids. And so most of the time, like I said, people don't wear spikes, right? But we do, and we tear it up. And so, but just, in general, you won't see that, but we have to protect that. Anyway, so that's, my take is, that's my feeling. We have to protect that investment. However, if you guys said no, you're gonna open it up.
Is that in our vote tomorrow?
No, that's not part of a vote thing. That is,
I mean, when.
This
or
is
maybe-
something
this
that's being
isn't, this
worked
isn't
on.
a vote. This is our new facility process. We're not changing policy. We're not doing anything like that. If you guys, yeah, it's just the
Is
process.
this up for vote?
It's up for,
It's up for suggestions
Yeah.
and feedback, and we can make changes. Like, we're making changes to the group names, adding to that group, so,
yeah.
absolutely, we can adjust.
Because this was supposed to only be a discussion item.
Yep, that's it.
Because it takes a while to build the.
Now you're gonna put a
Building
timeline,
facilities.
so use it for 1 year and
So give
then,
them the feedback.
Yeah, then we can reevaluate, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I say we look at this.
yeah, just put it for a year and see if it works.
Yeah,
And
I think
if not,
And you don't have to.
Yeah.
And somebody like you that is in charge of it, take good notes of what didn't
Oh,
work and
absolutely,
what
yep.
worthwhile.
And do we need to have a community forum, so to speak, as to people's concerns?
We
Like
can put
throwing
something
that
out there,
out there.
say, new facility, not only use process, but, we can put something out there for everybody, just,
They'll do it on Facebook anyway.
we'll put it out there.
That's true.
But,
That's true.
if we were sending text messages out of, hey, school board meeting tonight, or on Mondays, we could attach an agenda to that link, couldn't we?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because we have the public comment portion, and so if they see on the agenda, we're going to be discussing the track, the field, fee schedule. It's on the agenda, and if they want to show up and sign up for public comment, they can do it.
We don't send a text message though.
No, we
No,
don't,
we
but
send it.
we've discussed it, and
Yeah.
I
I
like
would
the
love
idea
to
of
do it.
starting it, right?
Most people forget.
Yeah.
Little reminder.
But, I mean, this discussion right now is to help get this moving.
Yeah.
Right.
So, that we'll have something that we feel good about, that we can talk to the public about in our
Get their
presentation.
input.
So, and, these things are good to discuss use and the charges and stuff.
Well, this is why we bring it to the board, because you guys are representative of the community, right? And so that's why we bring it to you guys to hear what we can. So,
Well, and this is a work study session, so.
So we'll finalize this, but we're looking timeline, it is a year to say, hey, is this working, to reevaluate those things and to say, and so that's kind of what we're gonna do.
With the changes we made.
Yes, yeah. And it may be, it was way more expensive, right, for us to do it. We need to change that fee schedule to reflect, because obviously contracts are constantly going up. And so, yeah, so 1 year we'll reevaluate that.
Good suggestion, Jasmine. Anything else about facilities use? This will come back to us
Yeah.
to discuss. Okay. Hearing nothing, we'll move on to item 3, project updates.
And that was the easy one of the agenda. And as we know, the football field, the drainage is almost done and complete, and that is the last kind of really big hurdle before we start seeing turf go in. And it is in transit, so everything is good. Everything's like, we're right there to be ready to go game 1. The stands are the only thing that they're being powder, they said, oh, they're in transit. I said, what does that mean? And, well, they're being powder coated right now. It's like, well, that's not in transit, call me when it's not. Anyway, so that looks like we're on schedule for that as well. So football field and kind of actually the athletic stadium, and when I say we're football field, it is no longer football, right? It is soccer, it's a multi-sport athletic facility. We're on track there to meet our goal of the first game, which is going to be
Okay,
pretty
and
good.
it is going to be mounted.
There will be a little bit of mount, it won't be like
Well, it
Western
won't be
Oregon
like
mount.
over
But yes,
Western
because,
Oregon,
so if
but-
you saw, what we did was I was out there the show. So they have like a French drain, right? So it all kind of, it's V like this, and it goes to 2 main troughs on the side, right? And so they built that up, and there's pipes going through, and it goes out. So it does, the gradient has to go from kind of the middle there. It's, I think Homedale, I think Emmett would be a better one, because Homedale was too much, but Emmett would be how you see that goes, because what we don't want to do, obviously, is have any sort of standing water. So that is almost done, and just really excited about that, so it was pretty cool.
What about the lights?
The lights are pretty simple. As soon as we're done, then we'll schedule. We already have our electric gonna come and do that, and it's retrofitting, so it's actually, it's gonna be pretty quick and easy. So.
What about the bleachers?
And that, the bleachers, the stuff's getting powder coated right now, and then
Okay.
they'll let us know on it. Elementary playground, obviously behind schedule, about a month. We've been really calling them and trying to get that, and so right now we are shooting for the 18th of August. So we missed Thunder Egg Days, and now we're crossing our fingers for the 18th of August.
Which is the first day.
Which is the first day of school. And so, anyway, but they're out there working really hard. Josh is the foreman out there. I know Shane's been connected with him, and Nick May at Playground, and so we're putting a little feet to the fire here. So that's going, they haven't started on that family bathroom yet in the high school, and so we're still on site for that. Obviously, we know.
Is it, they are on schedule? I mean, they do feel they'll have it finished?
They said it shouldn't take long once they break down and get going, so as we're in August 4th, I get really nervous of any project started, but they're very confident in it.
That's
it's
2
going to-
weeks.
Yeah, so if we don't have them breaking ground, probably by the end of this week, we're gonna say no go. So, just because we don't wanna disrupt the educational environment, so. Other than that, floors are almost all complete in all buildings, new floors, and what else was there? As you notice, we replaced the concrete here sidewalk here, we had that gap in there, so that got replaced this weekend. And so we're just kind of doing these, we're actually on kind of a lot of these finishing things on our projects to get ready for school.
The tuck and roll, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
I know. I put your name on it, I just, but no, that's also fixed as well,
That's
so.
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was waiting for rounds here.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that was one of the feedback that, when we talked about, facilities improvements is, and you'll see that, things are looking a lot cleaner and better. Jesse and his crew are just going at it. It's pretty awesome. And that was one of the things, like those little things fixing it, so.
Okay, just back to the football field.
Yeah.
Is there going to be, there is water available for the teams' benches? I mean, so they can get their water instead of having to.
So we won't have water going directly out there. We have, usually what they do now, right, they fill them up in the locker rooms with their jugs and take them out there, yeah.
We got water bottle.
Yeah, so, we have that, it's just got both ways, and anyway, so, yeah.
I just want to protect that.
Oh, yeah,
part of it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
I-
yeah.
Okay, anything else that we need to find out about project updates?
That should be it. We are working on, as you know, we've tried to got the seismic grant for a new roof on the cafeteria. In the last 2 years, we haven't been awarded that grant. Told the company we were working with, we were kind of looking at some different options for that as well. So, the cafeteria roof has to be replaced.
Does it leak?
It leaks, it's a hazard, and so just to know that might change some timelines on some future projects, because that is almost $1 million on there. So, just for the board to know, right, is.
And no federal monies for that kind of thing?
No, and I will try to do the seismic grant again this year, but because of it being not a primary building, as they call it, secondary, we continually bump down. But we're going to try to justify it as being more of a community use building, because that's where we have evidence. That's, like Thanksgiving things. Anyway, so to say it is more than just a
Can't you have a
cafeteria.
class in there?
Yeah, and that if you did have a class in there, that automatically bumps us up. So
Let's do the culinary class.
that's what I'm saying, and so yeah, that's
What are you waiting for?
yeah.
You kind of have to feed the kids, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what I mean.
sometime.
Can't Mr. Carlton do a cooking or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, well, they still use that when kids aren't eating in there to cook and prepare and clean, and so
It
it's.
was extra this year,
Yeah. So anyway, just for the board to know that might be a cost that we need to.
Ryan,
address.
we know how creative you are.
Yes. So if you
So,
see
I'm just throwing
me
that
up there
out.
with saran wrap, no, I'm joking. But yeah, so that, and then there is a section on the gym as well. Mrs. Reese, it's kind of this side building, old district office where it used to be, that leaks regularly as well. And because they did a flat roof at that place, it is something that might need to be replaced with the cafeteria. So anyway, other than that, there's no updates on facilities, and kind of where we're at.
So, you do have your projection, your
Yes.
5 and 10 year,
Yeah.
or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 year
Yeah,
projection.
the roof was the only thing we were hoping to get specialized grant funding, because they said, oh, this is a shoo-in, didn't get the first year, it's a shoo-in for a second year, did get a second year, and so, we're gonna have to change how we're gonna fund that.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm.
Yep.
So,
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to, this isn't gonna take long at all, cell
Nope.
phone calls.
This one's the easiest one yet. So, and my hat is off to our, my administrators, my buildings, more explicitly Mr. Cleaver, who really worked on this. Because it will be, the high school would be more impact on it, but he actually took the lion's share of this. And so I just really appreciate his work. So if you'll see, you have the proposed following, this is for student handbooks. The front page is the new proposed cell phone. It's not a policy yet, that the policy will come later with OSBA. This is for handbooks. This is what we're going to be doing this year. On the back of it, if you hadn't seen it, this is the exact order. So if you put both of these documents together, you'll see that Mr. Cleaver and the rest of the admin did a great job of everything that is in the executive order is addressed here. And so I'm going to highlight a couple places for you to see. On the back of it, in the red, that was last year's. So it's really not a big change from last year. So this year, the biggest changes are, so I'm going to highlight these, is that all schools in this school district will be free from personal electronic devices. And an electronic device is defined as, but not limited to smartphones, flip phones, tablets, e-readers, smartwatches, smart glasses, any other personal web-capable device, and headphones or earbuds connected to those devices. So anything that can receive or send messages are considered a personal electronic device that cannot be on a person in the classroom unless, and here's the part, unless it is written by a medical plan, an IEP, or 504.
I like that.
So those are the only 3 ways. If it's written in an IEP, if it's written in your 504, or we have a doctor's order. So, did you no, and then all electronic devices will be stored either in a backpack or something, in lockers or cubbies. They will not be on your persons. So it won't be like, oh no, they will not be on your persons. Now we do understand in that, and we have in there, like, say if there is a family emergency going on, right? We don't want to say, oh, you can use it whenever. Mom can say, no. We want the office to know by saying, we're here if something happens to brother, we need to, and so we understand those. So we want, if there are those one-off things, we want the parents to communicate with building admin. But other than that, it's not, well, they babysit their brother, they need it all the time. Nope. They will let the office know, and we can let them know. And so, so really that is and that matches the executive order. We actually went to the bare minimum in those requirements based on the executive order. And I was laughing at, because we have in there flip phones. It's like, is that a thing? And I saw you with your flip phone. But again, this is, if you read this exact words and exact things that are in here. The only thing that you won't see in here, that is in here, is our requirement to adopt a policy by the end of October and have it in some budget January 1st. And so, other than that, they did a really good job of reflecting that, communicating really well when it is. And what happens if cell phones are out?
Yeah, what's the consequence?
Yes,
It's good.
It's
subordination.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, and then part of it is in the executive order is there will be no loss of instructional time because of violation of that policy. And so that's reflected in as well. And so what we say is, yes, you have to give it to the building admin, and then maybe after a while, it's like, you have to keep it in. So Mr. Vickers has a lockbox in his office, and I imagine Mr. Phillips will have something of that nature in there. Is that when you come in, you have to check it in because you have violated this multiple times, and so that'll be a requirement.
Can we make this for the parents so they can sign it too? English and Spanish?
Yeah, and that'll be
So
part
they-
of the.
But,
In the handbook, right?
Yeah, it'll be in the handbook that they have to
but they
say.
need to sign it and turn it in, so,
It's
okay, I know
That's a
this
great
is what.
idea.
But they'll all say,
Yeah.
You're gonna have some crazy.
That's why I wanted to sign it.
Yeah,
They'll still
Is there
say it.
enough
Yeah.
lockers at the high school that each kid can have one assigned? Because
we just put in 2 new banks,
okay.
and so now everybody does have their own locker. So we
Okay.
just installed 2 new banks outside of, and you'll see them, Mr. Mills' room and Mr. Hodge.
I just remember, like, in the last couple of years, there wasn't enough to issue to the kids, so there needs to be a locker for a cell phone.
Yep, and so that's one of the issues that, well, because we were looking at lock boxes or those lock pocket things and saying, this is actually more respectful, and everybody has their own locker for those things. And what we're saying is, we don't want kids to be taking backpacks around to all classes and things like, go to your locker. Like, there's a safety reason, but there's also those things as well. So everybody has their own locker for that.
So that's a new rule, they can't take backpacks.
So that's in there, we're gonna say backpacks in lockers, so, unless it's required by, well, they have a gym locker and those things, but we don't want them in classes in the middle of the hallways or, in the aisles, it just becomes not only a safety thing, but, so. Is that correct, Mr. Phillips?
Yes, it is.
Do we have will there be a cell phone suggestion to our staff? I mean, because,
Yes, and so we're working on that right now, really it is, there's no cell phones out there while you're with kids. Period. And so obviously there's a prep time, there's those in there that you can before and after school. But what we say is you cannot adequately monitor students if you're looking at your cell phone, and so it's not. So, well, somebody, sorry.
okay, and is there a consequence for staff who?
And yeah, and that's what we have. The first time is obviously going to be a verbal, and so we'll go through progressive discipline at that point. And
Take
so,
it away and have to come get it from you at the end of the day.
Yeah, call the parents.
Get in the lockbox for mobile violation.
Yeah.
I come down here to the district office or?
Yeah, absolutely, and I get to scroll through. No, but just like everything else, like progressive discipline, what we do is we warn them, and we remind them, letter of expectation, you're expected to have your cell phone at all time, then a letter of directive, and then you kind of, you go from there, so, yeah. So, yes.
This looks all really good. This part is very ambiguous to me, and so I'm it's the part where the policy may extend to field trips on other events of the school district personnel, which may include time when students are not on school grounds or under supervision. So it's just like a lot of, who's making these decisions?
So that would go with who's supervising it under those things, and so one of them you'll see in the executive order is that bus drivers, if you're with the bus driver, it doesn't count, you can look at your cell phones or do that, but if you are in a bus under the supervision of a coach, then it could fall under that rule.
So it's just kind of as
And we
the
could,
person desires?
yeah, well, we would make it as a building, right? So if we're seeing in middle school is like, all of our sports trips are field trips, like we're noticing there's some behavior on there that we don't want, we're gonna say, middle school field trips or sporting events, we're not doing it. But as of right now, we're making it kind of as case, and we know, here in Eastern Oregon, right, like you go to sporting, besides Vail, right, we're on the bus for hours. And, it's nice to have those things, so.
So I can tell you the reason why we got, I don't care if my kids have a phone most of the
Yeah.
time, but the only reason why we got them was for that,
Yep.
was to go to travel.
Yeah. And saying they can have them on their persons, but do we want them out using it the whole time? And so, but yeah, that goes directly with the executive order. So.
And please make sure the parents understand that.
Yeah, that's the part that I see people fighting with, is like, well, the wrestling coach says he can, the football coach, he says it can, like,
It's gonna be as building, it's not gonna be,
The biggest concern is, once the building admin kind of sets that expectation, staff is consistent with it. That would be the biggest challenge. Then that's when issues come and parents complain.
and that will be the second part of it in the personnel, is if I go into a classroom and see chief has his phone out, and not only do I need your phone, I go, Ms. Martin, your job was to, monitor these things, and you're not following board policy at that point. And so we remind you what policy is, and so that's what we have to address, so.
So we're talking about the problem here that this addresses in part, and that's education and interruptions. But right here on the first page, it talks about lewd or illegal images, sexting, crimes, those sorts of problems. What are we doing to educate the kids as to phones used for bullying, phones used for sexting, phones, you have that on your phone, it's a crime. Donnie, I'm sure you see a bunch of this.
Absolutely.
I've talked to the sheriff about it. He talks to kids all the time about, you're coming to my house, I don't want to have seen a picture of you. Because he's got kids who are teenagers. Like, is there an assembly we can put together? Is there something we can roll this out to the students and say, okay, there's threefold reasons here. One, it's interfering with your education. Two, we're trying to stop sexting issues, and 3, there's too much bullying going on. Have some year old, you come talk to the kids about, these are the consequences, and this is why we're doing this.
So yes, part of it is, and that's what we use advisory for, is to actually have those conversations about appropriate and safe use of not only cell phones, but web, anything on the web, and safe web presence. What we talked about with our new SSPS person is that's what they're going to be, because Mr. Rodriguez, can I keep on? No, Mr. Rodriguez, yeah. Mr. Rodriguez is something that he has dealt with a lot, and he has those, and he does have a curriculum he kind of goes through, and so, but those are the opportunities that we take at advisory to do that. And so when October Bullying Harassment Month, we bring in cell phone bullying harassment, so.
Well, maybe at the first assembly, Officer Rodriguez at each building could take 5 minutes or whatever and talk about that.
I think that'd be great, because advisory, they're gonna get very differing messages depending on who they're.
And if Officer Rodriguez would talk to the,
Yeah.
But
If he's-
anyway, but if you would
if
talk
he's-
to the whole high school and give them all the same information.
Well, that's usually how you do it, you make a slideshow,
Yeah.
the admin shared it to the staff, and everyone watching that, everyone doing that slideshow and advisory, so all this.
Yeah.
Well, but as Dustin says, it's nice if it's at like an assembly, because a lot of these kids, they're not gonna have any problem with this. I mean, and some kids are really naive. They don't know that that kind of thing even exists. So, if everyone gets that same message.
Is Officer Rodriguez, what is his role?
He's the SSPS, right, Student Safety Prevention Specialist. And so that would fall right in line with what we wanted to do.
So he's been hired as that?
Yes.
I can tell you from personal experience, he can scare kids very well.
Yeah.
So if you had tell him, tell the kids, this is what happens if you do that.
Yeah.
They'll do it, and it works. That's just.
Any questions on this, or feedback, or anything? And if you need some more time to go over it and have the questions like Nick brought out, like, hey, what about this is very ambiguous with field trips and 16. We have our admin retreat on Wednesday, and we'll be gathering any sort of feedback for that. This is going to be the largest change for our community. as far
But
as-
teachers need their phones on field trips.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, well, and that's what we're saying is that, and we're not saying the teachers can have them on their persons, and we're just saying it's not out when you're monitoring safety.
Yeah.
So,
But we will have time to go through this, talk to people, get feedback and
There'll
feedback.
be people that can phone them out of it.
there will, and
There will.
the sooner the better on this, because we do want this to launch first day of
Yes.
school, so August 18th. Next week, right when we do our kickoff, is we're gonna be talking to staff about it, and so I'm getting feedback as well,
So
so.
are we voting on that tomorrow?
Next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
So we have a week to really
Yeah.
put this into shape.
Yep.
Nick thinks that's far ahead.
Yeah, he
Next week.
Keep saying tomorrow.
Yeah. A little slow.
Don't get it, don't get it.
I'm used to that.
He has a meeting tomorrow, we don't.
Yeah, and I would remind, this is handbooks, which we usually don't, you guys don't vote on handbooks, but I do think it's a larger sense of this is the direction you guys want to go. Because this isn't policy, right, it is handbooks, and, but again,
Well, this is important, so I think that if it's brought up at
Yep.
our regular board meeting, just as an information item to the board, that it's going to be in the handbook.
okay. So we'll put it on information on the board meeting, you get that? Perfect.
But we don't have a choice. The governor told us we have to do
And
it.
that's exactly, this goes in line.
Just like with the masks, all people were mad about masks,
Yeah.
but we didn't have a choice.
So,
That's right.
Whatever
I think this is the best policy
whatever the governor says.
they put out, personally.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
I would agree.
Not that anything I have to say matters here, coming from the classroom last year, this would be my number one, get the phones out of the classrooms. I went to a training like 5 years ago, and like, this is the best thing in the world, they have a mini computer in their hand. It's true. No one uses it as a mini computer, they use it as a,
Distracting device.
oh, it's so bad.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
so,
yeah,
coming
that's
from
right.
the classroom last year, let's get that out of the classroom.
So So they're gonna have to actually go back and buy TI 89s now.
Yeah.
And they also have
Like this
Chromebooks.
Texas Instruments.
Yeah, the
Going back to
TI,
playing
no,
Oregon
yeah.
Trail.
Blackberry or something?
Yeah, but they still have Chromebooks and those things, and then if a student does want to bring their own personal computer and use our network, with our permission, they can do that. They cannot bring their own computer not hooked up to our network because we don't have firewalls and that. We don't allow that, but, so it does say it's district sponsored, and so if you do have your own computer that you bring in, and we make sure it goes through a firewall, that becomes district sponsored. So there are other things besides the phone to use on top of that. ChatGPT works out really well.
Other questions on this? Okay, we'll move on to the board working agreement. At our board training, at the end of our board training, Kristen mentioned about our board working agreement, and she also talked about a board superintendent working agreement. And so, for that reason, we do have a board working agreement, but we need to look at it, all of us need to look at it and think of revisions. I've also talked to Kristen about getting some other working agreements that she recommends, which she said she would send me. I haven't gotten them yet. And also to develop a board superintendent working agreement. So we need to look at the one that we've got, and I would like to recommend that we add in there a line item about if you're unable to make a meeting, that you alert the board chair, vice chair, the superintendent, or Megan, that you will not be able to make that meeting, so that, you know, we have knowledge. There was one time that we had a problem, almost had a problem making a quorum. And, you know, that can be rather annoying. So, anyway, I would like us to look at that, make suggestions, and as soon as I get the other working agreements from, or the agreement that she recommends, that Kristen recommends, I will get that out to us so we can review that also, and then amend or whatever our working agreements.
Can I make one suggestion to this,
Yes.
right off the bat? That we move number 18 to number 1. Because it says children's interests come first, we have
Yes.
that listed as number 18 instead of first.
Yes, and that, I mean, when you look up at our mission statement and our vision statement, that's exactly what it says. And I wondered about the
Is
word
that wrong?
children. I mean,
Students.
Children and students.
So we can just
because-
call it students.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I'm thinking of our preschool kids, who aren't really students, they're still children,
But
but,
they're learning.
yeah,
They're learning.
so, but,
It's a way.
Like that.
I agree, thank you.
that is a very good suggestion.
And what's gonna happen if you don't assist the meetings and you don't call anybody?
Well, you know what, that's something we'll have to discuss, isn't it?
Number 20.
Well, that's just common courtesy. If we decided to get elected to this group, and if you don't come for 2 or 3 meetings, it's, you know, you're not following what you signed up for.
Yeah. And would that just be for board meetings or study sessions as well?
It's nice to know if you're not going to make a study session. I mean, a quick text message or you know, just a simple phone call, I think are just nice ways to be in touch, and yet, you know, it's just like I always try to send, whoever doesn't make a meeting, I always try to send sort of a synopsis of what we talked about, so. Anyway, so those are things we need to work on. Any other questions on that? We'll move to item 6 then. The staff welcome back.
Perfect, you have the welcome back schedule in your packets. The first event, obviously, today we had the executive meeting with OEE. where Dr. Charlene Williams and her team came down and talked to all of our admin. It was actually pretty cool today. But new employee orientation is on Friday, and I know that a couple of you are going to Salem, for the OSBA conference. I welcome any of the board members come say hi to our new employees, and just to CFAs, but, and you don't have to talk if you don't want to, but you're more than welcome to, you are there. But, so that'll be on Friday. Staff in service, which is 8-11, and I hope to see all the board there, but I know the schedules are there, but come enjoy the show, have fun. We have some fun things planned for our employees today and really set that direction and vision for the year. So that will be 8-11, and as you can see, kind of the list of events for everybody going through that day. The back to school night is Thursday the 14th from 6 to 8. And so, I love it. Our community comes in and just sees what's going on. My daughter's been very nervous about it in middle school, so. But anyway, so this is really our week, and you guys are invited to any of these this week, and I do think it's important for the staff to see you sometime.
Sounds like you've really done a lot of prep here to.
And we are so far away from you. No, yes, anyway, yes, we have, and just really mindful of how we set things up, and this is a lot of work on this one page. So.
I have to tell you, at the last couple of years, your staff in service in the auditorium has been very good.
No, Jolene, restaff it, so please.
No, we have other things, and so it'll be good. I can't unveil the surprises
You can't let
yet,
us know.
but we do have some other things. So
Are we supposed to be at one of these events?
If you
Is
can.
that
If you
expectation?
can.
If you can.
8-11,
If
they
you can,
introduce
there's
all
not-
the board members.
8-11?
yeah, that's Monday. That's
In the
next
morning?
Monday in the morning. And
7:45 in the morning.
yeah, if you could really be there
First
at
hour.
like 8 o'clock, and then when we do new employees, I'll start with the board, and I can have you out of there by 8:15. Just to stand up and wave and see your face would be really nice. And
You probably ought to get there about 6:30.
6:30.
I am.
I do think the only problem is you're going to come in at 8 thinking you're leaving at 8:15, but the show is going to be so great that you're going to be late. You're not going to want to leave. So anyway, it'll be good. Anyway, I do apologize on this. Any questions on the kickoff week? I do want to give a quick update to everybody. If you've heard, and for the community as well, is our transportation director got into a horrible wreck last week. And he, not his fault, it happened on 84 when they shut it down. It was really bad. So he's been in the ICU and just got transferred out there last night, out of the ICU finally. But just to know that he is doing well and has spirits, and Megan's went, I went, Shane went a couple times, like everybody's kind of visiting him, and so we're working really, really hard to make sure that things run smoothly, especially in transportation. But I'll keep you guys updated on how he's doing physically.
Is there something we can do, like when he comes back, like a meal train or something?
Oh, absolutely, he's gonna need it. Like I said, the state trooper just said, you're lucky to be alive.
Well, didn't the other car go through the median and hit him down?
Yeah, caved the whole side of his truck in. He was all the way over, just crushed in there. They had to cut him out. And luckily, that came out of his broken bones, stitches, everything, but he's in high spirits and doing well, so.
Can you send some flowers or something from the board to him?
We can now, because now he's out of the ICU. It took
Yeah, I
him a
know,
while,
the ICU.
but yes, we will send him something from you guys. And so,
I would appreciate that.
yep, fruit basket, all
I
the.
don't think I
Instead of the flowers.
Well,
Flowers,
something
he's
from
a
the.
flower guy.
Is there such a thing as a donut basket?
There should be, if not, patent pending, let's do it.
That's a good question.
Anyway, and so, and there, thoughts and prayers, and hopefully he just keeps continuing on the road he's on.
Somebody's out onto the medical floor now.
onto the regular medical floor. I mean, and, you know, that long in the ICU says, I mean, there's obviously they're bigger than just, so.
I saw that on the news, it just said a person from NISA never identified.
Yes, so that was him.
Adjourn the meeting so we can talk.
So
Okay.
anyway, that's all I had, and so I'm good.
Okay, is there anything else we need to discuss? This meeting therefore